So there is the table after England's late show against Tunisia. Harry Kane with the 2 goals, the vital one in the 91st minute, giving England 3 points. We go on next to Belgium, Tunisia, and then England, Panama. One on Saturday, as you can see, and the other one on Sunday. Panama next, and Tunisia are playing Belgium. Didi, England got there.
They got there in the end. It should have been an awful lot easier with the chances they missed in the first half. And you know, at half-time I thought if you miss so many chances, you won't run away and win the game with 2 or 3 goals. So I think it was always the odd goal, and they didn't really create an awful lot apart from set pieces in the second half. But again, we mentioned it at half-time. Maguire won every header. I do not know why they didn't put another man on him, because he was the danger man. It comes again off ahead of him. And there was probably only one place to put that ball. So it's still a lot to do, even though he's only 3 or 4 yards out. It's a great finish from Harry Kane. Deservedly, I've got to say, I was quietly impressed with England. I think they played well, they passed the ball, they played a football we haven't seen from England for a long time. And I think they'll be all right in the tournament, I really do.
Do you think they'll be all right, Richard?
I thought the first 15 minutes, I thought they looked like the best team in the tournament, how fast they were going and how easy they were opening up Tunisia. But then we talked about at half-time what type of manager is Gareth Southgate, because he's not got the experience at this level. And when they started that second half, I was wondering what he'd said to them, because they seemed to have a little bit of doubt in their mind. They seemed to, the tempo was much slower, they weren't getting forward as much, and they sort of looked like they were running out of ideas. And I think as the tournament goes on, they can't keep relying on set pieces. They missed a half full of chances in the first half, and yes, they kept the ball and played it around nicely, but it was like what we'd seen from them in the qualifiers, where it was just pedestrian pace. They weren't getting in behind people, and in the end, it took a couple of substitutions just to try and make the difference. And yeah, they came good in the end, and they have one man who can make a difference, and that's Harry Kane. And we talked about, is he world class or not, and he's starting to do it now on the world stage, so maybe by the end of the tournament he will be.
Liam, what did you think? You know, the point that Richard makes about, and we made it here, about all the chances that they missed, because they're such a young, inexperienced team. Did that get to them in the early stages of the second half? Was it playing on their minds? We should be out of sight.
I think, as Didi says, when you miss so many chances, you're bound to have a doubt in your mind whether they're going to come again. And to be fair, the Tunisians camped into their own box. They hardly got into the England half in the second half. They camped their own box. They were big, strong lads, and they were strong in their tackles. They were getting blocks in, and England really didn't create anything at all in that second half. However, at set pieces, they always looked as if they might get something. And what you can't understand is, as Didi pointed out, Maguire was getting too much joy from crosses, and they let Harry Kane go. They should man mark there. He should have had a defender following Kane wherever he went. As that ball came in the box, he just drifted off to the far post, as he did for the first goal. And that's what if he is world class in anything, that's what he is. His instinct of where to be in that box is world class. And I tell you what, he knew exactly where he had to put that header as well, because Mustafa was in the middle of the goal, and he knew the only chance he had was to squeeze it in the near post. And I said to you at half-time that if he gets a chance, he has the composure to take it. And it took a long time for it to come. But are we going to see it?
Yeah, we are.
Well, it was Benamor was silly here. You know, now's the time to boot that down the pitch. But no, he hangs on and needlessly gives away a corner kick. You know, that was bad. And then Maguire, as Didi says, winning everything in the air. But Kane just drifted off. Whoever he was marking there just drifted off. You cannot afford to let him do that. But he knew exactly where he had to stick that ball. Swivel with the head, boom, in at the near post.
And there might be inexperience or bad play. If we can show that again, if you just follow the guy who actually, if we can see that from the start again, just watch the guy who marks Kane. He's going towards the edge of the box. You know, it's the 91st or 92nd minute.
He's running out, isn't he?
Well, yeah. If you watch it,
it's Benamor again at the back post, and if he's got a zonal area, you stay in that zonal area till the ball's cleared. But he's just watching the ball and he's going for the ball. He's gone one way and Harry Kane goes the other, because he senses there's an
So
opportunity.
that's Benamor here. Yeah, he runs out, Benamor. Look at him
goes towards
run
the edge of
out,
the
Dara.
box. I've never seen anything like it. So he's with him. Now he goes towards the ball, and that's just point. We spoke about it. The details and little things decide games. This is a basic error, not putting another man on Maguire, and then not following Harry Kane. And
they deserve to go. I have to say
punished.
that England deserved to win the game. When you create 6 or 7 really good chances that they did in the first half, I think that tells you that they deserve to win the game.
Yeah, OK. Let's look at Kane's first goal. Didi, this is yours.
Yeah, similar to the
11 minutes.
A carbon copy. Ball is floated in. They mix the corners up. Great leap by Stones here. Very powerful header. Generates great pace. Keeper makes a tremendous save with the injured shoulder, which he injured a minute before. And here he is. And this is why they are the most sought after players. This is why they earn the most money, because the hardest thing in football is to score goals. And it is a pretty easy finish, but you've got to be there in the right place at the right time, and he is. And I think we emphasise the importance of set pieces because not so much today, but in the games we've seen, I think a lot of the games, how hard it is to create chances, especially when a team has got 10 men behind the ball. So there's a huge emphasis on set
They're
pieces.
big lads, England.
Yeah, they
Stones
certainly worked
and
well
Maguire,
today. I don't think they'll have it as easy in the coming games.
Okay.
Because Maguire, I think he gets special treatment in the next few games. But you've got to say the way they play the set pieces today and how dangerous they were. I've rarely seen a game in recent history where a team almost threatened with every set piece they put in the box.
OK, that's Harry Kane, and he made mention of 2 possible penalties that, he felt were both penalties. But we're going to look at both of these now. One from the first half, one from the second half, and it reopens, guys, this VAR debate. This is from the first half. And just when you look at it, what we saw in the Nigeria-Croatia match the other night, when you see this up close. Give me a verdict here, Richard.
Yeah, it is a penalty, you can see it, but it's a tough one. I think in that same situation, John Stones is pulling one of their players on the other side. I think this second one is more clear-cut. The number 4 has got his arms wrapped around him, and he's got no intention. He's not even looking at the ball. All he wants is Harry Kane. And when you see what's given for against England, well then, yeah, if you're going to do it, and that one, this
is the Nigeria-Croatia one, which was given.
Yeah, this is the thing. It's the consistency. It's even the goal against Brazil the other night. The centre forward pushes the centre half, and it just seems to be down to the referee's discretion. So they need to make a clear statement. Like, if you hold a player in the box, it's a penalty. If you push a player, it's a free kick. But it's just game to game, it changes, and you end up spending so much time after game speaking about technology rather than the actual football and the enjoyable part of it.
I think the tricky thing in the World Cup will be this penalty is given because it goes straight over, I think it's Mandzukic. It goes straight over Mandzukic's head. So it's half a yard from where the ball is actually headed. So the referee is obviously looking at the ball and he sees that he's grabbed hold of him. The first one is a yard, 2 yards away, so he probably didn't see it. And the second one is 2 or 3 yards behind of where the ball was headed. Yeah. So I don't think he saw it.
But surely the VAR should.
But he should be looking for it as well.
I think
as
for
that
the ref
ball's
it's hard.
coming in, he should be looking around for things like that.
But he can't watch everybody.
We'll never eliminate it until they start giving penalties. And
you see, that was the point. They did the other night, and we thought, OK.
I'm going back to 2002. We got a penalty.
Oh, Hierro, wasn't it?
Yeah, Hierro was pulling out of one of us, wasn't it? We got a penalty, and the referee gave it. I think it might have been a Swedish referee or something like that. And I thought, well, that's going to be the start of it. Here we are 16 years later and still talking about these things.
Well, I suppose, look, there are a lot of those incidents in any given game. And we're going to see a lot of them.
Yeah, but until the referees, I think Eamon said it the other night, until the referees start giving them, it'll go on and on and on.
OK, well, we thought that was going to begin from the other night, and
it didn't. No, there was two penalties there on Kane.
Okay.
But I feel there was one for the people in Moscow, wherever they sit, for the VAR.
Well, that was the point we were making, They should be looking at that. That's what they're there for.
You can't give a penalty for every contact because there has to be a bit of holding and pushing and shoving.
6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
And then, as Richard said, I think that the hard thing is because there might be 1 or 2 England players holding. They may make the case, well, my guy's been fouled here, there's a foul here. I don't think the discussion will go away quickly because you know what is a penalty. But I think in these two incidents, I would have given them both.
Well, Harry Kane said it wasn't a penalty. He didn't think it was, but it was an absolute.
The Kyle Walker
penalty.
one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's hear it is.
He gave Harry Kane a kiss at the end of that match because he got out of trouble there with that goal in the last minute, didn't he, Richard? This was really stupid, you know.
We spoke about it as well. The putting wrong players in the wrong position, and you see with this one, it's Ashley Cole. Or Ashley Young, sorry, in the wrong place. Probably wish it was Ashley Cole.
These were the mistakes that, sorry, they didn't...
Oh, no, we are going to look at the Kyle Walker incident right now. Apologies, that was a different piece of analysis from the first half. So this was like Kyle Walker, and Liam, you described it as one of these kind of shoot yourself in the foot moments where it gave Tunisia a platform to come back into it, where, you know, and it gave them a foothold in the game.
Yeah, well, I don't think the Tunisian was going to get the ball. I think it was Ben Youssef. He wasn't going to get the ball. Walker just had to stand still. But instead of that, he had a crazy moment. He threw his arm out and caught the player right across the neck. And for me, it was a penalty.
And that incident involving him, like, was that... It's indiscipline, obviously, but like a lack of concentration, or is that something he has in his game that he is likely to kind of just lose the plot for half a second and it leads to this?
Yeah, he's an attacking fullback. That's his role. And it's the same as Ashley Young. He's a winger, so he's not going to close out the defence. Yeah. Kyle Walker we've seen a situation in the second half where Kieran Trippier just let the ball go over his head, but he's trying to be smart, he's trying to hold him off, but this is what we talk about, contact in the box, that's a penalty.
Okay.
You know, he's hit him across the face, so...
I don't think Ben Youssef is getting to the ball. All he has to do is stand his ground. He doesn't have to throw that arm at all. You know? And Sassy took it well. And England had to work hard to get that victory because of that stupid decision by Kyle Walker.
As soon as you put your hand up in the air like that, you make the referee make a decision, and the fellow goes down, which he's entitled to do, and there has to be a penalty.
In the first half particularly, England created a whole host of chances. Like Lingard could have had 4 goals after about 15 minutes. They were playing that well, and you were all very impressed with the way they played at the start.
This was right at the outset. Jordan Henderson plays a great ball, smashes it across the box. They get a second bite at it, and Lingard should really score there. He should hit that high in the top of the net. Trippier, I thought, had a fine game. Pulls this back, ends up with Jordan Henderson. This is at a stage where England were all over them, and if they get the second goal or it becomes an easy match. But in the end, they had to expend a lot of. I just thought he lacked composure tonight, Lingard. I was a little bit disappointed with him because I think he can be a very important player. And as we've seen here, set pieces all night long where they were in difficulty. This is Stones. Falls on his left foot, but shows some composure and side foot that into the top corner. Another one. Lingard again. As Didi said, he could have had a hat-trick tonight. He could have been halfway to scoring, or to being the top scorer in the tournament. Does well here. I think he's a little bit unlucky there. This is in the second half, when I think Lingard gives Rashford a call, and Rashford is ready to pull the trigger here. Loftus-Cheek pulls it back. He must get a call there, as Ronnie said in commentary, to leave it like this. I think it shows that Lingard, a bad decision from Lingard to call for the ball because Rashford was going to pull the trigger. But that was really the only chance they made that second half, because the Tunisians, they camped in and they were calm on the ball when they did get the ball. Ben Amor a little bit too calm in the last minute. He should have just booted the ball down the pitch.
Back, we're reflecting on England's 2-1 win over Tunisia, and we're going to look at Tunisia and their performance, Didi, because, you know, they played a part in the match this evening. They were confident on the ball and played some nice stuff. Yeah, well, I think confident on the ball is an understatement. Here they are 4 against 4 in the corner flag. In 3 passes late to the left back is released, and they start in attack. And yeah, it was just great to watch when he came off. Sometimes they got a bit loose with the passing when they got a bit tired towards the end of the game. And England had to work very hard. You know, we watched this here. It's a possession bit of 30, 40 seconds, and England had to work very hard at times to get the ball back. And it's just great to see these African teams, how confident and comfortable they are on the ball, because I think it's a great lesson as well for England, because I think in recent tournaments, possession let them down, because you need a breather.
and you can't just play on the counter-attack and let the opposition have most of the ball, because at some stage you will tire. When you play against the best teams, they will tire you out with their possession.
England in the second half,
they did tire a little bit, that's right.
You know, Ronnie said
and this is one part where I think they improved, but I think they can be even better, and they'll be a better team. But Tunisia, you know, some of the passing was just exceptional. The calmness and the composure they showed. Look at this, you know, still pass the ball in their own half. It's pressure again. What are they going to do? Try to play a 1-2 and they get the throw in. And yeah, they did this part of the game very well. But defending of set pieces let them down. And their defending from open play in the second half was exceptional. I think they played the near perfect half. Great piece of skill. But then the next pass is going.
They didn't have a lot to offer up front, did they? I think they missed the two star players, didn't they, Richard? Badly up front. Yeah.
Well, Harry Kane's performance tonight, those goals he scored, they're actually his first goals at a major tournament. Euro 2016 didn't, well, for England, it certainly didn't go according to plan. It didn't go according to plan for him. What a difference 2 years makes, Richard.
Yeah, absolutely. And 2 years ago, he was taking the corners, you know, so it shows one little change in tactics, and he gets himself in the right situations. And what Liam was talking about earlier, his actual all-round game at times lets him down. He's got nice bits and pieces, but sometimes for the size that he is, he doesn't hold it up well enough. But his job is to score goals, and you put him in these situations, he's there, you know, and that's what he's done. That's what he's done for Tottenham for the few years. And
Richard said off air, what was he doing taking corner kicks in the last European Championship, Harry Kane? What was he doing? Who made that decision when he's so deadly in the box? I think he can be a little sloppy technically, but I think he's an intelligent player. He's got huge personality, and he's got this world-class instinct to score goals.
Seen in the clips as well earlier.
This is a good ball. You know, he is intelligent when he's in possession, but technically the ball sometimes gets away from him. But here we go again, sniffing around the far post. Now, what was he doing taking the corners for it?
But we've seen before in against...
Can we find that out, Darren, who made that decision? Give Roy Hodgson a ring.
I think against Scotland he scored in the 89th minute. Then against Lithuania for England to qualify was the 91st minute, and then again tonight in the final minute when it matters. So he's one player that you want in the box, not out taking corners.
Didi, they have Panama next. Then the group finishes against Belgium. So I suppose, look, the analysis beforehand with all the pressure and all that stuff that was on England, they win this, they beat Panama, yes, so then it sets up a group decider against Belgium.
Yeah, then you...
Or is that, am I jumping too far ahead?
No, I don't. They'll beat Panama, and I fully expect both teams to go in the last game with 6 points, and then, you know, we'll probably find out which second 11 is better, Belgium's or England's. You've got a chance to rest players. Does it matter whether you win the group? I think you play against the first or second team out of Colombia and Poland, Senegal's group. I don't think it makes too many odds. I think this was the perfect opening game for England today. I said before, I would have rather played one of the other two teams. I think the way it panned out was perfect, because you play great football for half an hour, you should be ahead, you make a silly mistake, you concede the equaliser. Of course, they are nerves when you miss so many chances. They've got a bit of a flat spot the first 15-20 minutes of the second half. And then you push on again with Loftus-Cheek and with Rashford, and you show a bit more urgency, and then you nick the goal towards the end. And I think for morale, it'll be the best that could have happened, because there would have been doubts in some of the players' minds whether they're good enough to play in a World Cup. I think now they've seen, we've come through it, and we found a way to win the game towards the end. And if one thing, which is for sure and for certain for me, this team will only get better. It's a very young team. A lot of these players will have played the first game in a tournament, and I've got to say, I really liked what I saw tonight, and I think last 8, last 4, they'll be there.
Last 4, OK. Guys, thanks very much indeed.